Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Kimani Saint-Jean. In the headlines, Prime Minister Skerrit describes the late Vernon Shaw as a distinguished public servant. A state funeral has been planned for the former president. Dominica observes a day of mourning in memory of Nelson Mandela. And government injects over $100,000 towards the completion of the Grand Fond playing field. Stay with us for more after the break.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Thanks for staying with us. The government of Dominica has taken a decision to afford former President of Dominica, His Excellency Vernon Lorden Shaw, a state funeral on Saturday, December 14, 2013. The government has declared a period of mourning from Wednesday, December 11, 2013 to Saturday, December 14, 2013 as a mark of respect for the late president. The Dominica flag will be flown at half-staff on all public buildings during the period of mourning. In keeping with his wishes, Mr. Shaw's funeral service will be held at the Mount Wallace Methodist Church in Portsmouth. All official mourners are requested to be in their seats no later than 2:45 p.m. Public viewing of the late president will begin at 2 p.m. with funeral services commencing at 3 p.m. The late Vernon Lorden Shaw will be laid to rest at the Portsmouth Methodist Cemetery. His Excellency the President Charles Savarin and Mrs. Savarin, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, members of Cabinet, Speaker of the House of Assembly Honorable Alex Boyd Knights, members of the Diplomatic Corps and other government officials are expected to attend the state funeral. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, in reflecting on the life of Dominica's 5th president, said he was one who served with distinction in the public service. Vernon Lorden Shaw served as president of Dominica from 1998 to 2003.
We're very saddened by the death of President Vernon Shaw. Mr. Shaw, as all of us know, distinguished himself in the public service, having rose to the rank of Secretary of the Cabinet and the head of the public service. A very astute man, a man who believes in discipline, hard work, and also became our president for one term. And he also brought a great deal of discipline and ensured that the issue of protocol was always observed. So he'll always be remembered for that.
The Prime Minister, on behalf of the government and the people of Dominica, extended condolences to the family and friends of former President Shaw.
We want to extend, on behalf of the government and the people of Dominica, our sympathies to his family and to his children and grandchildren and to his friends. We know that losing somebody is never easy, especially for his wife, who's been at his side for so many years. But we pray to God that she will get the strength, the courage to bear the loss. And again, the government is there to support. Mr. Shaw, His Excellency Shaw, will receive a state funeral, and there will be a period of mourning to observe his passing.
The government of Dominica declared Tuesday, December 10, 2013 as a National Day of Mourning as a mark of respect for the late Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa. The Dominican flag was seen flying at half-staff on all public buildings in the state today. Nelson Mandela was the first truly democratically elected president of South Africa, serving from 1994 to 1999. After his release from prison in 1990, Mandela was instrumental in unifying South Africa following decades of white minority rule. Following his single term as president, he would go on to be one of the world's leading statesmen. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit described Mandela as possibly the world's greatest leader. The Prime Minister says Mandela's legacy will certainly live on amongst South Africans and people across the world. He said, and I quote, "Nelson Mandela demonstrated to us as a people the spirit and the importance of reconciliation," end of quote. Nelson Mandela died at the age of 95 last Thursday after ailing for some time. He is survived by his wife, children, and the entire nation of South Africa. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of South Africans on Tuesday joined dozens of world leaders for the National Memorial Service for former President Nelson Mandela. The service was held in front of a vociferous crowd in the FNB Stadium in Johannesburg earlier today. U.S. President Barack Obama said Mr. Mandela was a giant of history, describing him as the last great liberator of the 20th century. The country is observing a series of commemorations leading up to the funeral on Sunday. His Excellency Charles Savrin, President of Dominica, and his wife, Mrs. Savrin, paid their first visit to Chances on Monday. The President continues to conduct a series of visits to foundations across the island, providing donations of cash and kind and spreading Christmas cheer. His Excellency made a cash donation to assist the home with its expenses and supplied light refreshments to go towards this year's children's Christmas party at Chances. President Savre expressed his gratitude for the work done by the staff of Chances, which is creating a safe haven for children.
I want to say to you, Mrs. Roach, and you, the staff, that this work which you are doing, this care for our children who may have some temporary challenges or whose parents may have some temporary challenges, that this is wonderful. And I am sure all of the children who have come through Chances and returned home are very grateful for the opportunity that has been presented by Chances. And we look forward to this institution continuing to serve the community, the people of Dominica.
Eva Roach, Managing Director of Chances, welcomed the President and his wife to Chances. She spoke of the work of the organization in being a home away from home for children in need.
We want to welcome you here to Chances today, and we want to thank God for this occasion. Not true? Amen. All right, we are just lucky that we have 16 of our children here today. All the others are at school. We have 22 children now. The highest we have ever been at is 23. The whole aim is they do not live there their entire life. While their children are at Chances, we work with them. We work with their families or foster parents, and they return to their home. This home, Chances, was opened in April of 2011. And then we have grown since. 89 children have passed through Chances since we opened our doors.
She thanked the President's Charities Foundation for the donation made to the home. The visit concluded with a tour of the facility. In other news, the Embassy of the Republic of China here in Dominica last Friday donated resource materials and teaching aids to the Orion Academy to facilitate the teaching of the Chinese language and the culture at that school. The Orion Academy prides in its belief of producing students who can excel internationally. They are able to achieve this by placing particular importance on teaching their students second and third languages. Ambassador Wang Zonglai agrees that this approach will assist the students in being competitive in the job market. He was happy to keep to his promise to assist the school in teaching the Chinese language.
Earlier this year, I'm very happy to hear the news that Orient Academy was planning to start Chinese courses. And it's indeed a pleasure for me to be here today to present with you some textbooks, exercise books, and other materials. I hope they'll be helpful in the teaching and the learning of Chinese language when you start the courses later.
His Excellency Zhong Lai also committed to presenting an award of excellence yearly to the student who best mastered the Chinese language. Queen Thomas, principal of Orion Academy, expressed gratitude to His Excellency Wang Zonglai for collaborating with Orion Academy in teaching the Chinese course.
Today, I am extremely happy, not only because of my background in Chinese or as the principal of Orion Academy, but more so as one of the Chinese language teachers, to know that the Chinese ambassador and the embassy kept their promise to source materials that will help us to facilitate the teaching and learning of the Chinese language and culture here at Orion Academy. Xie.
The course is designed to enable the students to achieve fluency, accuracy, and confidence in their ability to communicate in Chinese. Presently, there are 2 teachers facilitating this course. Other languages taught at Orion Academy include German, Swedish, French, and Spanish. The students were happy to demonstrate what they have learned.
我叫 Silk， 您姓什么？我姓 Walsh， 我叫 Andrew。认识你很高兴。认识你，我也很高兴。认识你们很高兴。很高兴认识你们。
In other news, the completion of the Grand Fond playing field has been assured with a further cash injection of over $100,000 towards that project. On Monday, the government of Dominica presented a check of EC $107,800 to the Grand Fond Village Council, which will go towards excavation works, surface dressing, and planting of grass on the playing field. This is the 4th such disbursement of funds towards the project by government, amounting to over $500,000. Chairperson of the Grand Fond Village Council, Joyce Pascal, in accepting the check, expressed gratitude to the government for making the money available towards this much-needed project. Pascal described the playing field as a welcome facility for the community.
I know for sure our young men in the community, all villagers, because the playing field will benefit the entire community, because I know for sure we in the village of Grand Fond, it's a sporting community. The people in Grand Fond has that passion for sports, and I am sure if this playing field is completed once and for all, it can make a vast difference in the lives, in the quality of lives of our people.
Ferdinand Greenaway, representing Bakes Block and Construction Company, is the contractor assigned to the project. He has given a commitment that the playing field will be ready within the next 4 weeks.
As you know, the playing field in a state right now, we have to grade the playing field all over, make sure we get it level properly. And after that, we're going to take the material, spread on the field. From spreading the field, we have to take the seeds, and we have to sow the seeds. And then we take about 3 to 4 months before you could play any football on the playing field. Now, it's not only the field alone we're dealing with, we also have to deal with the road, the entrance road, right? Both, I mean, what's his name again, Mr. John? Both the entrance road and the top, the drain. So that is the scope of work we have to do there. But I can assure you, you're going to get a field, because I only have 3 more days at La playing field. Only 3 more days at La playing field, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to be comfortable.
Parliamentary representative for the Grand Fond constituency, Honorable Ivor Stevenson, called on the entire village to take ownership of the playing field.
I need to call on you, the villagers of Grand Fond, that this time I would not like just the Ministry of Sports and Public Works and the contractor to take up the responsibility for ensuring that work is done towards putting the playing field into use. I would like every one of us to take responsibility. It is not just the responsibility of the village council, neither the responsibility of the contractor, neither myself. And when there are shortfalls, sometimes we label them and say it is the village council, or it is the contractor, or it is the PAL rep. We all have a responsibility towards monitoring the playing field.
The Honorable Minister responsible for sports, Justina Charles, says government is sensitive to the sporting needs of the communities across the country, and Grand Fond is no exception.
Even when I move through Grand Fond, when I visit, I see the young persons on the street and on the playing field right down here engaged in sports. And I know of the results of your engagement in sports at a national level and even representing at regional level. And so we understand the importance of a playing facility for you in Grand Fond. So I really want to commend your parliamentary representative for the tremendous work that he has been doing to ensure that we reach at this point.
The Grand Fond playing field is one of several playing fields receiving financial support from the government across the country. Lifeline Ministries has secured a grant from the British High Commission to train individuals to support victims of sexual abuse and assault. Lifeline Ministries is a non-government organization which accesses resources to assist disadvantaged groups in Dominica. These resources include funding for small projects, donations of goods and equipment, volunteers, expertise and consultation and training. According to a release from Lifeline Ministries, the course is expected to take place from January 9, 2014 for 6 weeks on Thursdays from 5 to 7 p.m. daily at the police headquarters. Lifeline Ministries is hoping that this training will be the formation of a victim support team and a support group for persons recovering from abuse. Supporting a victim may mean being available outside of working hours. It may include accompanying a recovering victim to the hospital, police station, or the court. It may also mean long hours of sympathetic listening or supporting other family members as they struggle to come to terms with what has happened to their loved ones. Interested persons are asked to apply using forms available at local police stations and on lifelinedominica@hotmail.com. Applications are particularly welcomed from persons who are already engaged in supportive activities and those with skills such as sign language or communicating with those with learning difficulties. Closing date for applications is Friday, December 13, 2013. And finally, this news time, the Paybush Cultural Group is celebrating 30 years of existence on December 11, 2013. The group has planned a wide range of activities under the theme Celebrating Culture, Christ and Christmas. The group, which was formed in 1983, has been at the core of community development and preservation and promotion of culture in the Paybush community. Rosalind Paul, president of the Paybush Cultural Group, affirms that the group does more than just perform folk songs and dances during the independence season. The Paybush Cultural Group, she says, has made a strong impact on the community and on the life of the youth. The group has planned an array of activities spanning from Wednesday, December 11th to Tuesday, December 31st, 2013 to celebrate its milestone.
First of all, we start on the 11th of December, the date of our establishment, with the official launch of the program. Here, government officials are expected to be in attendance, followed by a community symposium which looks at the links between culture and tourism. The aim of the symposium is to begin to stimulate community interest in community heritage tourism. As you know, Paybush is rich in terms of cultural heritage, and we have a number of assets, resources, skills base that can really lead us into tourism. On Friday, we have traditional games with the community, especially youth, children, what we call Lalinaba, Awona Balalin. And on Sunday, we'll be having the Music Lovers Band and caroling by the roadside, involving, as I say, Music Lovers Band and community groups, choirs, and so. since we are trying to ensure that we bring the Christmas spirit.
Other activities include a conceptualization meeting to plan a community herbal garden, a pajama serenal, Christmas outreach to the elderly, and a dinner for past and present members of the group. Rosalind Paul is proud of the group's ability to influence several young persons to become contributing citizens to society.
If we were to trace the past members of the Pebush Cultural Group, they have been contributing citizens to society. That includes Miss Kimani Felicity, who was once the National Queen of Dominica in 2001. We have had WOB Duet, National WOB Duet winners in the persons like Tara Honore, in the persons like Anna Matthew, in the first ever Creole couple. We have young persons who have turned out. They started very young. Persons like Michael started at a pretty young age, childhood, in the Pebush Cultural Group, and has been a leading person in terms of passing this cultural dances, folklore, training other young persons. We have persons like Kidron Alexander, who was once the youngest village concert chairperson in Dominica.
Though migration has over the years caused a continuous turnover in the group's membership, the Pebush Cultural Group remains vibrant. Paul attributes this to the interest of young persons in the community to be part of the group, as it allows them an opportunity to display their creative abilities. Besides participating yearly in independent celebrations, the Pebush Cultural Group works with other community groups in various community projects. The group periodically conducts research and documentation, is involved in education and training, and puts on a yearly Carnival Princess pageant. To date, the group has produced 5 albums. And that's the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is up next with Creole Highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique déclare aujourd'hui qu'on journée la peine qu'on pas respect pour ancien président Sud-Afrique Nelson Mandela qui passait. Tout droit pour te baisser à 6 maisons publiques aujourd'hui. Mandela, c'était le premier président qui électé à la guerre démocratique où il a été en l'office entre 1994 pour 1999. Président Mandela a passé 27 l'année en la geôle et puis après il sorti en 1990. Il travaille pour unifier Sud-Afrique. On voit la messe pour place en Sud-Afrique pour célébrer la vie Mandela. Il quittait derrière Madame Ling, les enfants et peuple Sud-Afrique. En même temps aussi, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, qui a bien changé président Mandela, qu'on y a ses plis mais qui passent en histoire latérale. Et de travail Mandela qui est toujours vivant en Sud-Afrique et puis latérale en général. À la nouvelle, membre parlement pour la plaine, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, bien plaisir pour deux gros projets qui sont en place en délice à présent. Si l'Honorable Saint-Jean, projet chimie et puis réparation l'école community Salaka continue.
En délice, nous avons deux grands projets qui sont en place. Yon c'est en chimie qui pour plusieurs années, plus qui 35 l'année, mon délice a essayé de faire en chimie, là nous yo sa aller hors migrants en délice pour sortir en Caraïbes. Mais c'est avec le problème, moi qui a changé longtemps, ça c'est après 25 l'année qui passé, Land Rover et qu'a couru en 3 skités là. Mais aujourd'hui, avec assistance BNTF, nous avons dépensé 137 000 $ pour adresser ce problème là, pour faire un chimie neuf et où il est presque incomplète. Et bon, bitin là, c'est tous ces gens là qui engagés en travail ça là, yo hot délice à part de yon nom la pleine qui se font là en les projets là. À moi voulais complimenter monsieur Thomas qui ni projet là puisque il est nécessaire pour engager moun hot délice. Et aussi l'école Font-Thomas, l'école délice, nous avons aussi fait un travail là puisque l'école latine a des petits problèmes, mais mon cas comme ministre de l'éducation est nécessaire pour toute l'école moins en bon ordre.
En la nouvelle, groupe culturel Pebush qui a célébré 30 l'année depuis qu'il a existé. Groupe ça là a organisé plusieurs activités pour commémorer célébration là. Selon président groupe la Roselyne Paul, il y a une activité là pour ouvrir un symposium.
Ça c'est autant de travail pour tenir un groupe qui n'est autant jeune monde pour 30 l'année. C'était monde comme Mélanie François qui tenait l'idée là, il menait nous ensemble et il mettait le groupe ensemble. Et après ça, il était Marcelin Locat qui venait et il continue. Après ça, moi à tête à groupe là aussi. Avec groupe là qui a célébré toute l'année, nous avons commencé avec official launch programme là. Après ça, mercredi, nous avons un symposium. Ça qui point place pour Pebouche Resource Center. Bon 5 heures. Et symposium là qui a regardé comment nous ça entrer dans le tourisme. Nous avons autant héritage culturel, nous avons Waitiko Trail qui a passé en Pebouche, nous avons bagaille naturel, nous avons les vie estate qui était toujours en café la vie, pendant la vie qui a influencé la vie à Moun Pebouche. So nous avons présenté pour la communauté là comment Pebouche ça trouvé quoi dans la community heritage tourism.
Finalement, le gouvernement Dominique bat ancien président Excellency Vernon Lord Shaw ont lettrement l'État semblé le 11 décembre l'année 2013. Le gouvernement a décidé de journée la peine qui a commencé mercredi le 11. Samedi le 14, content pour montrer respect pour ancien président là. Doit pour pays là qui baisse à toute maison publique entre temps là. Président Shaw travaille comme président en octobre 1998 pour octobre l'année 2003. Après, il travaille en secteur public pour autant l'année. Président Shaw a reçu plus gros l'année Dominique en l'année 2000. Président Dominique, His Excellency Charles Sovereign et Madame Sovereign, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skirt, Speaker du Parlement Honorable Alex Boyd Knight, membre Parlement, diplomatique corps, officier gouvernement en parmi d'autres qui attendaient lettrement là. Moun qui s'est gardé cadavre là à 2 heures et puis lettrement qui commencé à 3 heures. Président Shaw a s'assassiné en cimetière méthodiste en Guantance. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle créole pour présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, the tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Courage is something that everybody wants, an attribute of good character that makes us worthy of respect. From the Bible to fairy tales, ancient myths to Hollywood movies, our culture is rich with exemplary tales of bravery and self-sacrifice for the greater good. One of the most courageous men of all time, whose life is being celebrated around the world today, wrote a famous quote on courage. Nelson Mandela said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past national focused newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Kimani Saint-Jean. Thank you so much for watching.